Good morning. Happy Tuesday. So we're the 10th day of the Iran war, I think. It started, the Saturday before last? So a week would have been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 11th day of the war, give or take. Who really cares? And this video is kind of responding to comments. The first comment that I want to say is that someone said, crude's at like 95, 99, whatever it was, dollars a barrel. So you're wrong about the $120 a barrel. Well, I said specifically, first of all, that last time I checked it on Sunday, it was about $120 a barrel. And on Sunday, you could Google it. You can Google it. It topped out. The high point that it reached on Sunday, not the closing, not the opening, but the high point that it reached was $119.50, somewhere in there. I round. It's the general concepts I want to impart, not the ultra specifics. The ultra specifics aren't important. $119.50 or $120 a barrel, not really important. The important thing is that oil prices are going up. And right now, we're not even in the actual shortage phase. We're in the, I'm going to call it the panic phase. I'm not saying that oil companies are panicking. I mean, maybe they're profiteering. Maybe they understand that they're going to lose money on lost contracts or whatever. I don't really know. Don't really care about why. I care about what is. And what is we haven't actually hit the shortage yet. I'm not an oil shipper by any stretch of the imagination, but I would estimate that it would take an oil tanker 30 to 60 days to get from the Middle East to California. Best guess. You can Google it. Maybe I'm wrong. But it doesn't just blip out from the Middle East and blip into California. It has to go across the Indian Ocean and then the Pacific Ocean, and it's basically halfway around the world. So I'm going to guess it's going to take 2 months, roughly, from the time it leaves port in the Middle East to the time it gets to port in California. So we haven't hit the shortage yet. It hasn't actually hit us yet. The tankers that were in transit at the start of the war might not have even all docked yet. I mean, there might still be tankers in transit for all I know. Again, I'm not an oil guy, but I do know that the actual shortage hasn't hit us yet. But it's coming. The Middle East produces a substantial amount of the world's oil. It is coming. The U.S. imports round numbers 10 billion barrels of oil a day. Oil, gas, whatever. About 10 billion barrels. Let's say 5 to 10 billion barrels. It's somewhere in there. It's going to hit us. And you're like, well, I'm in Georgia. I'm only paying $3 a gallon. Congratulations. You will be paying more. And the thing is that with the damage to the oil infrastructure in the Middle East, not only if the war was over today, let's just pretend, they still have to fix the damage. I guess they've been shutting off production, and my understanding from the experts is it takes a month or so to restart oil production. It's not like a valve you could turn off and on. There's a process to it, and I don't understand it. I don't claim to be an expert. I am merely regurgitating what experts have been saying. So from the end of the war, from whenever the war ends, we're still looking at another month for a nation that has no damage, where they could just turn everything back on. And for the nations that have been damaged, where their oil storage has been damaged, or where their oil production, their rigs, their wells, whatever they are, have been damaged, obviously that's going to extend the timeline because they're going to have to make repairs. So we're looking at a significant amount of time before oil from the Middle East starts flowing again. And I can't emphasize the fact enough that the world runs on oil. And the world is going to be competing for that oil. And oil is going to flow to whoever's paying the most. And, Russia has been selling to India and China, and they're going to keep selling. So those folks have a secure oil influx. But the U.S. has sanctioned Russia. It's not like we can go, hey, Russia, all that shit we've been doing to you and, funding Ukraine and giving them long-range missiles and targeting coordinates and all that fun stuff. Can you sell some oil? We can't do that. I did think it was hilarious that I think it was the State Department issued permission to India that they could start buying Russian oil again. And India was like, we never stopped buying oil from Russia. It's all propaganda. Everything is all propaganda all the time. And before I get to propaganda, let me address a couple other things. One person said, John, you suck at politics. You should stick to legal stuff. Well, that's your opinion. And I'm going to say you can suck my balls because I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. If you don't like it, don't watch the channel. Another guy said, you've been watching too much liberal media. That liberal media. If it ain't on Fox News, it ain't true. Well, I watch a lot of media. Once again, I consume a wide variety of media from the far left to the far right. I get a lot of my news from overseas sources through Telegram. Like some of the Duran and Alex Mercouris and Alexander Christoforou, I think one of them is English, but ethnically, he's English and Greek. The other one is from Crete. I guess that makes him Greek. He's a Cretan? That sounds like an insult. I don't want to call him a Cretan. So I get a wide variety. And just like when I am looking at auditor videos or anti-auditor videos, if I'm interested, I try to go to the source. Telegram has a lot of source stuff. Telegram, I follow, I don't know, maybe a dozen Telegram channels. And there are people from overseas who get videos and, show the impacts on the bases. They show the impacts in Israel. Well, I guess a lot of that's being censored pretty hard now. All the Gulf Coast countries and Israel have outlawed videotaping missile strikes and the results of missile strikes. What is interesting, though, on a tangent, is that when we were getting videos from Israel, you could see 10 interceptor missiles go off after an Iranian ballistic missile, whatever, some kind of ballistic missile, and I'll miss. You'd see some that would be intercepted occasionally, but there was a lot of interceptors going off and a lot of misses. Well, I guess a lot of impacts from the ballistic missile. But what's really weird is when Israel got really tight control censoring these videos, all of a sudden they're all intercepted. It's crazy. It's just like in Ukraine, where Ukraine was having 90 to 98% interception success. I mean, all their electrical energy transfer stations were getting hit all the time and power was going out everywhere. But no. That's the 2% that got through. Yeah. And they also killed 2 million Russians. So, it's all propaganda. But I get it from a wide variety of sources. And the $8 a gallon in LA, that was reported on a wide variety of sources. If you're living down there and you say it's, in the $5 a gallon range, great. Where I'm at, I drive by gas stations coming to work and you're in the high fives, $5.85, $5.99, that kind of range. Whereas 3 weeks ago, it was down at low fours, like 420. If you go to one of the Indian reservations, Indian casinos, you can maybe get it for like under $4 a gallon. I was going to Chico for a hearing 2-3 weeks ago, and was it Feather Falls? I think it was like $3.89 or $3.99, somewhere in there. But anyway, prices are going up, and that's the point. Prices are going up. But I do get it from a wide variety. I'm not liberal. I get called a liberal by the Trump tards, and I get called a Trump tard by the libturds. So, I mean, I'm not on either one of your sides. And they're just the connections. One other thing before I get into the connections. I also had a couple guys argue in my comment section about how much oil the U.S. has in its, that it could, in theory, tap into. Again, who really cares? It's not like we could tap into it today. I mean, sure, we could start drilling wells and we could start building the infrastructure, but probably years before any of that comes online. I mean, we got what we got. So this problem isn't going to fix itself. But there's a correlation between these people's ideologies. Like, oh, you're a libtard. Oh, you're a magatard. And, oh, you're a frauditor. Oh, you're a... I don't know what the auditors call the anti-auditors, but I'm sure there is some bootlicker, sure. These people get into these ideological mindsets where, like, my guy's right, your guy's wrong. It doesn't matter what my guy says. I'm just going to believe him and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what your guy says. He's dumb and wrong. But even in the auditor, anti-auditor movement, like, I've covered numerous auditor videos where the auditor was in the right and the cops were in the wrong. I've covered numerous auditor videos where the auditor was in the wrong. I've covered numerous anti-auditor videos where I normally don't cover them unless someone is making a point to bring it to my attention and asking for my comment on it. But 9 times out of 10, if they say anything legal related, like the Rusty Moore thing. What was his auditing the audit? I think he did the video on it, and so I didn't watch his video. I watched Rusty's video, which was just the body cam footage. And once I watched that, then I watched Audit the Audit's video, and I'm like, okay, you're dumb and wrong here, you're dumb and wrong here, you're dumb and wrong here, you're dumb and wrong here. But if I had just watched Audit the Audit's video, yeah, I would be misinformed. I would be subject to the propaganda that Audit the Audit was putting out because he was wrong. He didn't understand the source material, the underlying material. He hadn't looked at the legal proceedings, at the briefs and motions and things that had been filed in it. So he was just making an assumption about things, blah, blah, blah. But so if I'm serious about something, if I'm looking into it, I actually look into it. Like, I actually go and I try to find the underlying materials. But just the way that auditors and anti-auditors, that kind of whole ideology where each side picks a side and they won't cross it. Like, people like, oh, DMA is a bad person. Well, he probably is. Like, I haven't met the man. I don't know. But he probably is a bad person. And then DMA's people think, Hunolt is a bad person. And he probably is. Again, I haven't met the man. He hasn't done anything to impress me. I've actually seen some of his videos and very unimpressed with him intellectually. Just how he is in his videos and in the comments, I'm very unimpressed with him. But, like, he could be right about things and he could be wrong about things, and you never know if he's right or wrong until you look into it. So that's kind of the important thing, is that people can be right about stuff and people can be wrong about stuff. Please don't make me your idol and think that I'm right about everything. I've issued a ton of mea culpa videos where I've been wrong, where I've been absolutely wrong. If I'm not wrong, I'm going to stand 10 toes down and stick to my guns. But if I'm wrong, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to say, hey, I was wrong. Like recently, I did a video on Common Joe, where I said there's a bench warrant out for him, and he failed to make his appearance. I have no idea how I came to that conclusion, but when I checked back, I was like, oh shit, I was completely wrong. You know, there is no bench warrant. His scheduling has his sentencing has not come about yet. So there you go. I was wrong. Mea culpa video. So if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. If you have a different opinion, if you have different values than I do, if you value one thing more than another, like another guy was saying, you're wrong about politics because there's millions of Iranians in the Iranian diaspora who are for this war. Congratulations. Like, I don't understand why personally I would give a shit if some foreign diaspora wants to see their relatives bombed for no apparent good use, but okay. Like, why would I care about that? Okay. They want I work with an Iranian guy. He actually just walked in to work. I ask him how his family is all the time because, he's got family in Iran. And right now we have no plan. Obviously, we haven't had a plan like from the beginning. We thought, oh, we're going to blow up the leader, and the country is going to all of a sudden become a gay butt sex Western country, and that didn't happen. They just elected the former leader's son, who's even more hardline than the former leader was. So, like, we haven't got anything. We haven't got anything. Oh yeah. The sky is falling. The guy who thought I was in too many liberal chambers, echo chambers. Here's the real problem. About 20%, give or take, of the natural gas produced in the world is produced in the Middle East, and that's not getting out. So not only are we going to have higher prices for everything, because everything runs on oil, the tankers, the cargo ships, they run on oil, diesel or whatever. The trains run on oil, the trucks run on oil, everything that uses plastic runs on oil. Everybody has to drive to and from work, that's more oil. So the world runs on oil. The world runs on oil. But agriculture, in addition to oil, runs on natural gas. They use natural gas to make fertilizer. Don't know how. That's not my area of expertise. But if 20% of the world's production goes away, the other LNG producing nations can't compensate. That's too big of a hit. You use natural gas to produce fertilizer, and fertilizer produces food, and food's going to skyrocket. I want to make it very clear that America was not in a good position prior to the start of the war. People have been buying groceries on credit cards. People have been financing fast food. Like, if you can't afford to go to McDonald's, I don't understand how financing it is going to help you. But that's where America is. People are broke. People are absolutely broke. We're spending basically $1 billion a day dropping bombs for no effect. I mean, sure, we're blowing up buildings and we're killing people, great, but we're not at all impacting their ability to engage in this conflict. Iran is still perfectly capable of engaging in this conflict. They launched, when I checked this morning at about 6 o'clock, they had launched like 7 waves today of ballistic missiles at Israel. That's not counting all the stuff that they're launching at the Gulf Coast states to hit American bases and whatnot, maybe oil infrastructure and things like that. So they're perfectly capable. They're still continuing. We haven't done anything, but $1 billion a day is going away. And that $1 billion a day is not real money. It's magic money. It's money they just print. But every dollar they print devalues the dollar in your pocket. So it is a tax, but it's a very indirect tax. So your purchasing power is going down. Prices on everything is going up. It's going to go up even more when the real oil shock hits. It's going to go up even more when the the shock on fertilizer and agriculture hits, it's just going to go up and up and up. And sky's falling, sky's falling. I mean, you tell me where we're going to get the LNG. We have a finite amount of it that we can produce right now. It would take years to ramp up to produce more. Where is it going to come from? Where is it going to come from? Where's the oil going to come from? Yeah, we have a ton of oil in the U.S. Sure, we have billions and billions and billions of untapped oil reserves. How long is it going to take to start ramping up that production? It won't be done this year. And I'm not saying that whatever issues this war creates are going to be into perpetuity financially. At some point, this war will end. The U.S. is going to run out of gumption. I mean, despite what all the propaganda bots say, the vast majority of the U.S. citizens are against this war. But democracy in action, we get involved in wars that the people don't like. But eventually this war will end. And eventually oil will start flowing and LNG will start flowing out of the Middle East again. But you're in for a bumpy ride. This is not going to be fun. I'm just telling you. And maybe I'm wrong. Bookmark this video, come back to it in a year. If I was wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I got a family. I don't want prices to go up. I don't want purchasing power to go down. I don't want people around me to become unemployed and broke because I require them to have money so that they can hire me to represent them. It's not in anybody's interest to have what is appearing to become a global issue, a global recession, maybe even depression, who knows. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. It's all bad. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.